Daytona International Speedway. It's the weekend of the Rolex 24. The traditional challenge belongs to the world's most famous 24-hour races, and every year it's the beginning of the major racing series in the US. Here, racing sport professionals enjoy cult status. Several hours before the race, masses of fans gather around the driving teams. The team Demspey Racing doesn't carry the name of the popular actor purely by chance. Most people recognize him as McDreamy from the Doctor series Grey's Anatomy. But here in Daytona he is also known as Professional Racer. Even minutes before the race, fans still lining up to get their special moment with Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, it's really important. I mean, without their support, we couldn't do it. And it's also, certainly in America, we really want to help develop a real passion and following for road racing. And it's a great way for the fans to come and meet us, and we meet them. A lot of them come back year after year. We get to know them. They follow us around. So it's a lot of fun, and it kind of helps calm you down before the race.
Dempsey has been active in the car racing sport for roughly 10 years. In 2007, together with Joe Foster, the 44-year-old founded his own team that is now driving in the Grand Am Rolex Sport Car GT series. So far, 6th place has been the best position of Dempsey Racing. This year, however, they should finally make the podium. Apart from Patrick and Joe, Charles Espenlaub and Tom Long are going to sit behind the steering of the Mazda RX-8 GT with the number 40. Patrick was supposed to take the first laps today. After 5 hours by plane, not a great idea. Since the actor was still attending Sundance Film Festival last night, he didn't arrive until shortly before the start of today's race. That's why Charles Espenlaub will take the starting stint. Time again, it's down to him when Patrick can't make it.
There's kind of this joke around the paddock here in Grand Am Rolex Racing that I'm the most hated guy because, you know, sometimes he won't know until a couple days before that he can't show up, and here I am. So whenever I show up, then most people are like, oh, he's here, Patrick's not here, you know, so then it's kind of like I'm the hated guy.
And if that wouldn't be enough, Charles even needs to deal with getting picked on by his own teammates.
You know, he wins the championship, and now I got to be his valet.
At exactly 3:31 p.m. and 14 seconds, the race starts. The car with the number 40 had a safe start into the race, and Charles shines with a flawless performance.
Yeah, he's smart. He's being really conservative, which we need to be right now. Just get into a nice rhythm. Don't be too aggressive early on. Make some laps and just see what happens.
In lap 53, Charles pulls in for the first pit stop. Within 53.03 seconds, the Mazda has been refueled, provided with new tires and a new pilot. The current driver of the Dempsey team is the very Mr. Patrick Dempsey himself. (7:21 p.m.) The race has been on for about 4 hours now, and Patrick has been racing for around about 2 hours. Time for the next change of drivers. Dempsey hasn't got time to chill. The media keen to interview the Hollywood star. Minutes later, Patrick attends the press conference. Dempsey, the true professional, is all relaxed about his fully packed schedule.
A little tired from, you know, the trip in last night to Sundance yesterday, and then getting in about 5:30 this morning, and a full day, certainly before we even got into the race. Car was good, you know, struggle. We got to be really patient on exit. The car likes to oversteer quite a bit, and I'll probably get back in the car around 10:30. Go until about 2 probably.
Hi, Patrick.
Yes.
All this fuss about the racing actor isn't always easy for the Dempsey Racing team.
There are both disadvantages and advantage. The advantage is we can generate a lot of media value for sponsors and partners who pay for all this.
But it does distract quite a bit. So staying focused and having the time commitments to take care of the important things for a race weekend can make it tricky.
Now that the race has been running for well over 7 hours, the technical problems of all 48 teams are beginning to mount. Joe Foster has been in the Mazda GT for 58 laps and just indicated that he wants to get out. Joe doesn't seem to be very happy. After about a third of the race, also the Dempsey team facing problems.
I don't know, right now we're struggling with the car. The car is not handling well at all. We're trying a bunch of things to figure out why and see if we can fix it. So right now, not so good, so we'll keep trying.
For now, Team Dempsey is sticking to the same battle plan as all the others. The mission, surviving the night. Everything else will be sorted out early next day. The next morning, thick layers of fog are hanging over the Daytona Speedway. The race has been on for over 16 hours now. Many have already quit the race during the night or hours ago, abandoned their hope of victory. Daylight is about to set in, and the strain of the past few hours can clearly be felt by the entire team. After a few hours rest, Patrick Dempsey is sitting in the box again and watching Charles Espenlaub still doing lap after lap on the track. Especially due to the initial problems, no one knew what to expect from the night.
A pretty good night, I think, in the end. Out front right now, still got a lot of time to go. Anything could still happen, but we're just going to race our race and see what happens.
Overnight from spot 16 all the way up to the first position. For the last 4 hours, Team Dempsey have been defending their lead. Charles Espenlaub is pulling into the pit. He has done most of the driving through the night.
We're still not the fastest car on the track. We're just leading by Jim's great calls on the pit strategy and also attrition with some of the other guys running in. They're racing really hard out there, and we're just doing our laps and keeping it safe. And you know, the number 40 Mazda is just going.
Up to now, the Mazda RX-8 GT has done almost 1,600 miles and is already leading by more than 1.5 laps.
You know, if we just keep a nice steady pace and luck goes our way, sure, we do have a shot.
Everyone is certain of winning the race while Tom Long is driving the last couple laps of his stint. But then the impossible happens. All of a sudden and out of the blue, the Mazda turns right round and stops. Tom can't manage to get the car restarted. As quickly as possible, the team is getting the Mazda from the track into the pit. Joe jumps in and the car is sent back into the race straight away. Minutes passed and nobody can tell if they have lost their lead. But one thing is for sure, if the car's engine is going to stop again, Team Dempsey will be disqualified.
Yeah, I got a little dizzy out there, about 5 minutes left in the stint. Don't know if it was carbon monoxide or what, but half spun the car and it stalled, and so we had to get a push start to go on, and Joe's in the car. We'll do our best to make it up. We were leading, and it's a real shame right now.
Nearly 6 hours leading, now worthless. The first place might be lost, but not the will to succeed. Joe Foster is trying to fight their way back from 4th position to the podium, and he got 3 hours left. Pretty tough pill to swallow, especially for Tom, who gets built up right away by Patrick.
He's a very caring individual and gives great advice, and just is a really wonderful person to be around. So for him to do that was very genuine.
Now it's all or nothing at all. The 425 horses of the Mazda GT are being pushed to their limits. After 2 hours tremendous driving, Demspey Racing is back on the podium. Now it's all about defending their 3rd place all the way to the finish line. Minutes before the finish, the 3rd place is safe. Everybody is starting to celebrate. Tom's blackout and the almost safe 1st place, all that doesn't matter anymore.
No, I mean, you know, it's one of these races that just to even finish is an accomplishment. So to get on the podium is a big accomplishment in itself. And, you know, we'll be back next year even stronger and looking for that win.
As Joe Foster passes the finishing line after exactly 24 hours, 1 minute and 30 seconds, there is no holding back. Patrick is running after his team colleague. The best ever result for Team Dempsey.
Charles and Tom and Joe, everybody just drove incredibly well, and with such heart, you know, and especially when we really forced him to double stint quite a bit. You know, it's pretty amazing that he pulled it off. It's a great feeling, it really is. It's just now a complete emotional release. You sort of pent up emotions, certainly through the night when we were running one and all that, so it's kind of soaking in. It's fantastic though, and I've been with these guys since the beginning of my involvement in racing, and it's like 10 years. It's amazing.
2,404 miles, 681 laps, 197 laps leading, and an average speed of 101.9 miles per hour. These are the basic stats of Team Dempsey after 24 hours Daytona. Finally, after 4 attempts in the Rolex 24 series, Team Dempsey made the podium. Demspey Racing is not a Hollywood show, but a tightly organized and high professional car racing team. Just as Patrick Dempsey is not an actor who happens to drive a few car races once in a while, but a professional race driver. He was leading the entire competition for more than 29 laps.
he's at the top end of the bubble now. He's really close, and it's just small little changes now.
Every time he goes out there, becoming quicker and quicker. So he's actually being in the lineup with Patrick. It gives you actually a good chance to succeed.
If Patrick continues driving like that, who knows, maybe one day he might walk in the shoes of other legends that were known and will always be remembered as actors and pro racers. Steve McQueen, James Dean, Patrick Dempsey. Sounds pretty good. The first step was made today by becoming third at the Rolex 24 on the legendary Daytona Speedway.